Good afternoon, Hank and John. It is, the computer says Monday. I think it's the 26th of November. And my name is Jennifer. I'm a teacher at Boston something or other. And I'm video casting live in my office here at Boston Blank School. And you see, like John, I've got my bookshelves impressively behind me, and I'm going to try and keep this down to 3.5 minutes. I've never done this before, and I'm not sure where to look, because when I look at the eyesight thing, then I'm not looking at myself, and then I'm looking at myself, I'm not looking at the eyesight thing, and it's all very weird. And I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. So yeah, it's Monday the 26th, and it's raining here in Boston. No real snow yet, unfortunately. Although this is a response to Hank's Black Friday blog, and the response is that I watched your Black Friday blog when I was sitting at my desk, not shopping, unfortunately, or fortunately, since I don't have any money, but marking papers. And one of the reasons I actually like your video log is because it keeps me from marking papers. And I actually had a chance to do the little dance that you do out in the park, right? I think that was back in February, and it was rich person, nanny, 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 rich person, rich kid, nanny, nanny, nanny. Well, my dance is kind of like, it goes like this. Papers, 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 work, career advancement, papers, papers, work, career advancement, papers, papers, work, career advancement. So I got to do that, which kept me from doing the papers, papers, work, career advancement. Oh, I did think about the career advancement, actually. And I wanted to respond because when I was listening to it, and right now I'm teaching Plato, and thinking about some of the things that were said to us in a lecture about Plato, about, you know, how shopping doesn't make you happy, and I was listening to NPR, and they were saying that people were waiting in like 4-hour queues in order to get into the car park of some shopping mall so they could go shopping, even though apparently Americans don't have any money, and all the retailers were like completely freaking out that nobody would buy anything. Nobody would fulfill their duty of buying as much stuff as possible on credit cards and not even on their own money. And Americans, in the end, completely came through. So I listened to this on the news all day. So I'm listening to the thing on the radio, and I'm flabbergasted, and I'm thinking to myself, well, everybody says, you know, shopping doesn't make you happy. But if shopping doesn't make you happy, then why would you sit in a queue for 4 hours in your car waiting to get a parking space at a mall that's super crowded, where you're going to probably wait like another 4.5 hours in a queue to buy someone like a crock pot that probably doesn't make them happy, but it might make them happy for 5.5 seconds, and then there's the gesture and the whole thing about that. And so I was thinking, do I have to revise this idea that we always have that shopping doesn't make you happy? Does shopping make you happy? Because nobody was making these people shop. And notice, like in Soviet Russia and stuff, that unhappiness seemed to be equated with not shopping. I remember when I was a kid, and there was all this stuff about the Berlin Wall coming down, and finally people had a choice between which kinds of soap they could buy and which kinds of shoes, and suddenly they were all really happy. No, it wasn't about freedom, it was about shoes and soap and shoes and soap. And so I was thinking, yeah, I think shopping makes people really happy. I think buying stuff actually makes people really happy. And when I thought about myself, I was thinking, well, if I make a podcast, then I have to get a new computer. Right now I'm using the computer in my office because, you know, for educational purposes. But at home I don't have one of these built-in eyesight cameras, so I couldn't quite do that there. And I definitely don't have a camcorder, and I have to get one of those to put in my Mac, and I have to get iLife 08 and all that kind of stuff. Would that make me happy? And I thought, yeah, it kind of would make me happy to have one of those awesome new MacBooks that all my students carry around, but I don't have one because I can't afford one because I have to pay for my apartment and my rent and my car and all that sort of thing. So I was starting thinking I should make this list of things that are really things that people tell you are true, but when you penetrate them a little bit, it seems that they're actually either not true or only half of the truth. And the shopping and happiness thing seems to depend on you revising your definition of happiness. So, yeah, it makes you happy to buy stuff, but that's not real happiness. No, that's transitory happiness, or ungenuine happiness, or some kind of happiness that isn't actually happiness. But I'm not quite sure what kind of happiness there is that isn't actually happiness. If you want to see some of the stuff that I got for stuff, I think also from my mother, like, here's an example of something that has proven infinitely useful. I was given this because, not because I like beanie toys that much, I mean they're nice, but I think I can live without them, but because I have a brown dog. So I have a brown dog, I mean a real brown dog, and now I have a beanie brown dog as well, and I get to put the beanie dog on the shelf in my office, and that didn't make me happy. So back to this original question about happiness and unhappiness in terms of shopping, and revising the idea of things that you have been told are not true, but when you look at them, penetrate them a little bit, they seem to be kind of half true, or at least, or not true. Is shopping one of those things? I'm not sure, but I'm leaning to the unhappy conclusion that maybe it is. And that being said, I'm completely on your side. So back to my list about things that are things that you were told were true or thought were true in some abstract way, and then you penetrate them and they don't seem to be true, or they seem to be only half true, like birds of a feather flock together, opposites attract. Challenge to you guys. How about you make a list of a couple things, and I'll work on a few more, including more things than just shopping and birds of a feather. So there you go. It's easier than eating horseradish.